And here we go. So, all right, happy Friday. It's October 23rd still, I think, right? Only?
Last I checked.
So, so we're now down to just literally a handful of weeks before a couple of big events, and at least one of them is Code Camp. So,
That other one. What other one are you talking about? I don't know.
yeah, we'll avoid the other one, but but actually, I guess if you count Halloween, but
Oh, I definitely count Halloween. Yeah. Bob's a professional in that respect.
Yeah. So
I've been trying to watch.
Go ahead.
I've been trying to watch a horror movie every night this month. I haven't quite made it, but doing okay. Doing okay.
So we've already got people watching Christmas movies. Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. Well, this year it's a little different, I guess. A little bit of leeway, maybe.
All right.
Just under the circumstances, I guess. But so it's kind of a cool day as far as Code Camp goes. We sent out the invites. Nate, did you get your invite? I'm pretty sure you did, Bob. But you were already in there, so.
Yeah, you invited my crowcoder at Gmail account, and I had some trouble, and so I wasn't sure if I should show you what is happening or if it matters, but it wasn't liking my Gmail account.
Okay, so you can probably, because you've got a native account for the tenant, so you can probably just continue to use that. The problem that you were probably having, and this is the guidance that we'll probably have to give people when they sign into the tenant, is basically they'll either have to use incognito mode at least the first time they sign in, potentially other times, and it'll probably work better if they use the client, the actual rich client instead of the web app. But that's another alternative. The other thing that we can do is if they send me another email, I'll set it up so that we can register people very quickly, and I can just plop an email address and a first name, last name, and get them into the system. So. So we'll be able to do that very, very quickly as needed. So the only thing actually we did have, I had a conversation with Bob Gooderl today, and folks in the community might know Bob Gooderl from Boston Code Camp.
Yep.
And so it was a great conversation. I showed him around. He, was very impressed with what we're doing with this, and may join in and kind of help out a little bit. But the one thing that he was concerned about was that attendees will be able to see other attendees' contact information. So we've got to either figure out how to deal with that or reconcile it as part of the code of conduct. I don't want to call it out too heavily, because then it becomes a more obvious thing. But so we lost Marie. So that's something to think about as far as that goes. On some level, I'm not totally worried about it. I mean, folks don't have to come into the tenant. They can, they are going to be able to log in. What we're going to have to do is make it so that people can kind of sign in as a non-member of the system. And if they choose to do that, they won't be able to participate in the the event itself. They'll be able to do the presentations and stuff like that, but they won't be able to do capture the flag or other things like that. They won't be able to participate in the chats, all that fun stuff. So so there's a little bit of trade-off. You lose a little anonymity in order to participate and collaborate and communicate. But I think in general there's a lot of people who are kind of looking forward to, kind of like, I mean, good old-fashioned socializing, even if it has to stay online. I'm looking forward to getting in touch with lots and lots of people and being even virtually a part of the crowd and stuff like that. It should be a lot of fun as far as I'm concerned, and I don't mind. I mean, of course, my contact information's all over the place anyway. I'm not hiding from anyone, so. But
I'm in the witness protection program, but they didn't do a very good job, Bob.
Just because your name is up on the billboard on 495 in Tewksbury,
So I won't ask why, but how you doing, Marie?
What skeletons are you hiding? It should be pumpkins, it should be skeletons.
That is a really great background.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
And I've never seen that nebula either, Nate. That's a great one too.
Oh yeah, I picked it off of the NASA picture of the day kind of thing.
That's awesome.
There's not one picture of the day, by the way. NASA has way too many pictures, so they always have like 10 pictures for the day.
Oh yeah. They got it at least 2 for every program they're promoting at the moment.
Right.
So it's their intergalactic picture of the day.
Yeah.
Probably a Hubble colorized.
Yep. Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Hey, Karen.
Send it to me. I can find out for sure. I have a contact who worked on the Hubble.
Very cool.
That's knowing people.
Doesn't do me any good though.
You're still stuck on Earth, I guess. So, like Jim, I wanted to just I did get the invite, so like I just a little bit of feedback, and I got it on my Gmail account.
Okay.
And because I had signed up through Gmail, so are you saying when I click on this link, I'll be sort of set up with a Microsoft sort of temporary email or something? Or I'm sorry, I kind of missed some of the ins and outs of what's going to happen.
Okay, so it doesn't give you a temporary email. What it does is it invites you to this Microsoft Teams tenant that we're actually having this conversation in right now.
Oh, I see that I crowded into. Great.
And so basically what it means is that you'll be able to participate in chats. You'll be able to participate in the Capture the Flag event. You'll be able to not just communicate with the presenters during the presentations, but there'll be opportunity to chat with people in between presentations and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more like a classic in-person event in that we'll have the ability to start conversations and do coffee chats and all that kind of stuff outside of the presentation schedule. So it should be a lot of fun. There's also the ability to go in and meet the vendors. So the sponsors are each hosting their own like virtual room that people can just ad hoc join and have a conversation, video call with them, and ask questions and talk shop and all that fun stuff. So so we'll see how it goes. It's a grand experiment as far as the way we're doing things, but of course the really fun part is that we've also got the aspect of events like the door prizes and stuff like that, and definitely appreciate your contribution, and not just to the speaking and the raffle prize that you offered up. Any do you want to tell folks about that since we're here? And
yeah, sure. Yeah, I goof around with like some sort of little electronics projects. I've got this happens to be from Adafruit, which people who play with electronics probably know Adafruit or they know SparkFun. But either one, they've got great little products that are like IoT kind of related and but really easy to program nowadays. The most are, you can run a Python interpreter right on that little tiny chip, and so Python's so much more convenient. At any rate, I kind of get excited about it. So I think what I'm gonna do is make it a gift certificate to Adafruit, and that way. But I could recommend what they should get as something because I kind of want one too. But it's just like a little gamer console. It has a little screen. It has a really kind of powerful but not power hungry chip on it, and a little screen, and then a joystick and a couple buttons. So it kind of makes a Game Boy kind of controller or game controller kind of portable kind of thing. And so they usually cost around, they're between $40 and $50. So I was going to throw a $50 gift certificate, and people could get whatever. I figured that was the best way, being that we're not going to have people running up to the front of the stage like last year. Like if you're going to do a raffle, we can't do that. Yeah. And instead of like having the winner give me their shipping address or something like that, I think this gift certificate is going to be the most expedient way that they're going to get the money. I can email them the money, the gift certificate, I should say.
Yeah. Actually, you'd even technically you'd be able to private message them through Teams if you wanted to. So.
Right, I could. Yeah, I think that when I get their gift certificate, there's probably just going to be a link to it that I will. It's basically like cash. Whoever has that sort of ID or whatever it is. Yeah, so that's going to work out well. Yeah, I'm happy to do it and excited that some random person's going to get a pretty fun little toy.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yep, and there'll be lots of other fun prizes at Code Camp, though. We've set up a I'll go ahead and show off the digital outpost as well. Say while we're talking about prizes, because we really appreciate that. That's going to be a blast. Somebody's going to love that, and definitely thank you.
I won a Raspberry Pi kit at Boston Code Camp once, and it's sitting here and is controlling my 3D printer.
Oh, cool.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
We actually used a Raspberry Pi. We have at the front of the school now in the lobby. For the new students who came in September, we have a 5-foot screen, and they come up and they punch in the room number, and it gives them like a route, like red tape on the floor going to the kind of thing. So it's really kind of cool.
Awesome. So I just wanted to show off the store here, and it's actually I was thinking about this. It's kind of funny because all of our partners are their logos are, it's literally a full page of stuff with the partner logos before you get to anything except the sticker for capture the flags. So you literally have to go all the way to the bottom, and there's tons and tons of really cool stuff in here with really cool logos. But if you want one of the Code Camp logos, you got to go to the second page. So,
hey Jim, you could use that page 2 link as the link to the store instead of just the baseline.
So I thought about that, and I've shared the page 2 link here and there, just to get people to this stuff. But at the same time, I think that that our partners have contributed quite a bit to the event, so it's not unfair to let them show off their wares a little bit here too. But we'll actually have a good number of gift cards to this store, for people to either get a free or significantly less expensive item here. None of these items are being sold above cost anyway. There's no profit being made on these. So some of these items are like relatively nice hoodies and stuff like that for under $30. I've got friends that are like really impressed just by that. And decent polos and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's good variety of stuff. And we'll be giving away gift cards at the event, for not everybody. We won't be able to give one to everybody, but hopefully we'll be able to give a good number of them out, and people have fun with that. We are going to be giving away gift cards to speakers as well, so actually we're going to try to get that a little sooner so that maybe speakers can have their stuff before they actually do the presentation. So that'll be fun too. But yeah, we were looking at the capture the flag earlier today, and gotta say this is going to be a blast for Code Camp. Just making it so that people can collaborate and work on these challenges together and all that stuff. Is there anything new going on in the challenges? I played around a little bit with it here earlier and got myself. I'm now on the board a couple of times, but
oh, cool.
Yeah. I was.
The only new thing is the sequel murder mystery challenge, and I just need to get with Marie and figure out what should be the wording there and what the flag is going to be. But other than that, it hasn't really changed.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's the question: do we want to do it? We were talking at one point like uploading so that people get credit, and do we want to do it that way versus like one code for everybody?
So yeah, I don't think the site could support having different codes for everyone.
Right, not as designed. It couldn't. No.
Okay. All right, that's what I didn't know. I didn't know whether you were accessing the database or not.
I do have a database, but just the way it's designed.
Yes, the data model doesn't support that.
It's 1-to-1.
Okay. So then we can work something out as far as what the code is going to be.
And the link, it can take them to a page specifically for your thing if you want to give a special clue. Like if you go there and you click on like the Stone Coast, what's it called? Let me.
Oh, you want me to show that again?
Sure.
Stand by just a second. All right.
So career path. So the second challenge, career path. If you click on that link, so that takes you to a page inside Capture the Flag.
Okay.
If you want your own page that has whatever, we can do that. Or we can put the entire clue right in the challenge tile, like most of the rest of them are.
So I mean, are we going to? This is the thing, and maybe trying to figure out how to do this, because we're going to have people who do it in the class, so to speak.
Yeah.
In the presentation, but then we'll also have people like you and probably Jim will do it outside, just to figure it out on their own.
Right. So, like the way I kind of thought about it at first was, you have to find out who the murderer is, right? And so the flag would literally be the murderer. But if you wanted something else, we can.
Well, we need to talk because there's two solutions. When you find the first murderer, it says you're correct, but there's a second person who's guilty.
Right.
So
we can make two challenges, or we can.
Okay, that would make sense.
Yeah, you want? Okay, I can add another one. Sure.
I know. Part 2 or something. So would it make sense? And Jim, can I ask you to go to the link rather than sharing screens and changing everything around? Going to this sequel murder mystery?
Sorry, just had to solve that one. I'm sorry.
You figure it out.
Yep, just while you guys were talking, I figured that one out.
What, the murder mystery?
No, the career path.
Ah.
So where would you like me to go?
You can just click on the sequel murder mystery link. It'll take you to it.
Okay.
Yep.
So, okay, you go to the website.
That's the way I have it set up right now. But like I said, we can do anything that you want to do there.
Well, I don't have a problem with that because you're going to have people who are going to do it outside of the class.
Yep.
But I'm trying to figure out how to handle the people in the class. Are you just, when you get down the bottom here, and if you could scroll down to the very bottom, and you put your solution in, it either says incorrect or it gives you like 2 lines of code. So maybe add a place to copy and paste that in. I can't, no, that says you're incorrect, correct? Am I right?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, yes.
Right. So I was thinking that, the right person would be the flag.
When you get the answer, it gives you like a line in this box, and I don't know if you want to use that line, or do you just want the name?
I don't have a preference.
So
it's just an entry in a database field. So
yeah, Marie, as far as that goes, even if it's a little ambiguous, let's say there are, 2 potential answers or something like that. They may try one and it won't work, and then they can try the other one and it'll work. As long as there's the opportunity for them to find both, they'll keep trying until they get it right.
Right. So, for instance, the second one says you found, congratulations. It's a little value box again. and it says, "Congratulations, you found the brains behind the murder. Everyone in Sequel City." I can't even read it on my own computer. But anyway, it's a sentence. And do you want to have them like copy and paste that in? Or do you want to just have a one-word answer?
I mean, I think as long as it's fairly obvious that they've found the solution.
Okay, so then you need both names? I'm not really sure what...
This doesn't need to be too complicated. I mean, you can just put in one of the whichever one feels like the more correct answer, and just put that in. And like I say, if they don't get it right, the first time when they capture the flag, they'll realize that there's something more that they need to find, and it's okay. They'll work at it.
It should maybe be two answers, part 1 and part 2. As far as the boxes,
Okay.
because the new people are probably going to find part 1, but they're probably not going to find part 2.
Or you could just make it part 1. Or I mean, well, it's up to you. I mean, to some extent, giving them the harder one might be a little bit more of a challenge. It'll force them to dig a little deeper. They will have time to do this. Where I think the running plan right now is that we're going to start inviting attendees in, several days in advance so that they can start playing with the capture the flag and stuff like that.
Okay.
So
I would think it would make sense to make it 2 separate boxes in the capture the flag. Make one advanced or part 2 or whatever, and have the second answer.
Okay.
Because I'm thinking that would be fairest to, all those people who go through my session are only going to get to part 1.
Boy, you really want everyone to go to your session, don't you?
No, we don't. But
well, I mean, you're making it worth 2 flags here, so.
Well, I'm just thinking it's fairer to everybody, because those who have knowledge, more advanced knowledge, are going to go further.
Yeah.
And it's not really fair to the beginners who have never looked at SQL before to say you can't get anything because you don't have the experience yet.
Well, there is going to be the opportunity to collaborate too, so it's debatable, But
yep.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
All right, refresh the screen, Jim, on the challenge.
So this is what you call agile going here.
Now we've got SQL Murder Mystery 2.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. That is really cool. That's what you call hyper agile right there. So this was one of the things that I kind of wanted to do tonight, since actually almost all of us are presenting a session at Code Camp, was to kind of go through and talk a little bit about what each session is and stuff like that, and actually I'd like to talk about I know, Karen, you're working on a contribution as well, the games for the arcade feature.
And I guess are you still going to have a door prize or door prizes?
Yep.
Yeah. Who's working on that? Besides, I thought.
So I think that, from what I had seen, you'll be able to do what we need to do when it comes time for the door prizes. All we need to do is just draw names from a list, and we can produce the list relatively quickly and pick out a certain number of names for the door prizes when it comes time. So I feel pretty comfortable that we've gotten as far as we need to for the time being. We might want to practice it once or twice, but just to make sure that we've got the process down. But But I feel like we're in pretty good shape with the raffle stuff. And thank you.
So you won't need me. I don't need to do anything for that.
If you want to be a part of the drawing, it's up to you. Otherwise, we can.
It's okay.
Okay, all right. So we can talk about that later too. But yeah, that's cool. And are you still looking at the little arcade feature that we were talking about?
Yes, I am. I've been working on it a little bit today.
So let me know if you're not ready to talk about it. I'll.
Well, I haven't really. I've been assembling the images and I don't really have anything put together yet. I'm still in the process of assembling the images and the and things like that.
Gotcha.
So I've decided rather than using one of the old Windows 8 games that I had, I would use the updated Construct 2 templates. I found one that I should be able to convert relatively quickly. So there'll be Windows 10, but it's pretty simple arcade game.
Nice. Very cool.
You could probably find some of those old. They have a site somewhere. Some of those old arcade games. Might be able to upload some of those too. I don't know.
I just saw on Twitter somebody recreated Galaga with Blazor.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
See if you can find that.
That sounds very cool. Yeah. So it sounds like it'll be a fun feature. Thank you for working on that. And sorry, just checking out the couple of chats going on behind the scenes here. But anyway, so we talked about Sequel Murder Mystery and the arcade feature and the Capture the Flag. And Bob, you up to tell people a little bit about the session that you're going to be presenting on Saturday?
Absolutely.
The 14th.
I just put the Blazor Galaga link in chat. So my session is about automating Azure. So it's kind of a introduction, kind of like a 30,000 foot view of the Azure CLI, PowerShell, and ARM templates. So I'm going to talk about how to get started using those, some examples, some demos, and I think I'm going to add some bonus material for Bicep, which is a project that was released at Ignite. And so I guess the play on words is, ARM templates is commonly referred to ARM templates, which is basically automating Azure resources. It's a JSON file that describes Azure resources and creates them for you or updates them. And Bicep is like a domain-specific language for generating those templates without writing the JSON. And so that's what I'm going to go over. CLI, PowerShell, and ARM templates, and a little bit of bonus material with the Bicep domain-specific language.
Very cool. Sounds awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Nate, you up to tell people a little bit about your session? Just a little synopsis.
I'd be glad to speak of that just very quickly. I live with folk musicians and they're playing out in the kitchen. So in case, I don't know, you're not going to hear it really, but I'm just saying if there's a disturbance. they can't be stopped. Let me say, I've just tried it before.
That's funny.
But what I like, the call for the talks came out, and I happened to be working on a really frustrating problem. So I was like, as soon as your call for talks came out, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to talk about this, and I'm going to get it out of my system. But,
So it's therapy, is what you're saying.
it's sort of like therapy, only, I think we're going to make it fun, and hopefully some small population of people are going to be interested in it. Let's just say it that way. It has to do with parsing. So like Bob just mentioned, a domain-specific language. And, these are convenient. They happen here and there. You might want to make your own someday, or you might have some really gnarly data format that you're just stuck with, and it's all in text, but it's not really, you can't just call it JSON and import it, or XML or something. So you might be in the business of translating it into something that's more machine readable. And so that's what parsers do. And so I'm just going to go through what parsers do. And then I'm going to go through 3 different, or maybe 4 different techniques that I've tried to solve a really pretty simple problem in parsing. And I'm going to speak of the problem. It won't take long to describe it. It's a little language that's really simple. It has square brackets to encapsulate things. So it's already out of the opportunity, like for regular expressions are not going to be able to parse this language. But we're going to talk about what little parts of it could be expressions and what has to be sort of a recursive descent parser. So we're going to get into a little bit of technical sort of computer sciencey stuff, but not too heavy that we're going to lose anybody. And then we're going to talk about a really good variety of tools that are out there. So if anybody runs into a parsing problem in the future, I hope that they will be sort of equipped with the basic tools that are really pretty good out there. And also knowing when those tools fall down short, because as soon as I tried to add comments in, like single line comments, that it got into some problems. And so the talk's going to be how you solve these little problems.
Very cool. Very cool. I worked on a project years ago that was very heavy. In fact, we called it Software Factory. And the methodology basically was defining domain-specific languages and using that to generate, like, we actually would take a domain-specific language and parse it and generate an intermediate language. And then from the intermediate language, we'd actually generate a ton of database code and source code for C# and HTML and just a whole ton of stuff. And the idea was to be able to express the requirements of our application within the problem domain as simply as possible, but with enough detail to be expressive and generate maybe 70, I want to say 80%, but we probably only got about 50%. A whole lot of scaffolding to go around it and stuff like that didn't need to be generated, but didn't need to be rebuilt every time either. But and then it would also generate unit tests and run the unit tests. So it was like a really full suite based on a relatively straightforward domain language. So very much a fan of domain specific languages and all that stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, it's like almost sounds like you built Yeoman or something before Yeoman even existed, maybe, or something like that. But also, like, one of our groups that I work with is going to start using behavior-driven testing, and so we're using Gherkin, which is like a really weird language that you write your tests in, but it's almost just like writing, English sentences. Like,
Yeah.
you just have to use a couple verbs in the right place, but you're almost like, just really loosey-goosey sentences, and they get sort of compiled. But there's a parser involved, and so yeah, it's all over the place. So it's not so obscure.
Yep. Yep. And it'll be interesting when they start pulling in the artificial intelligence and applying that
Then
too.
we'll all be out of business, right? When the AI starts coding for us. That'd be scary.
Yep. Well, they're working on it. I've seen examples of it that are pretty impressive. So, but so let's see. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Thank you. And session that I'm going to be presenting is a little bit of a classic for me, but I'm realizing it's been most of a year since I've presented it publicly, and as it was every time I did it, it was a moving target. I never pre-recorded my demos, but I always worried that, and a couple of times I did get bit by that. The fact that every time I updated the software, things were just a little different. And for the most part, they worked, but once in a while, So what I'm talking about is building a enterprise-grade chatbot with full customizability and all that stuff using a tool called the Microsoft Virtual Assistant template. And it's pretty nice in the sense that you can spin up a code base, and within the course of an hour you can go from no code to having a solution running in Azure with even a little customization in the course of an hour. And I live demo building a chatbot in the virtual assistant template. We're going to take it just one step further and integrate it into Teams, which I've also got to refresh my memory on too, because that story has changed a little bit since the last time I played with it. So it should be a lot of fun. Like I say, it's a changing topic. It's been a fast-moving space for a while now, but it'll continue to be fast moving, and this will be the latest incarnation of that. So lots of stuff to talk about there, and it's a lot of fun. I spin up chatbots just for little hobby projects every now and again, and I've got a few, though I've learned to pare it down because one of the components, unless you remember to share it across chatbots, can get a little bit expensive if you have multiple instances. Not a big deal if you're an enterprise, but the instance ends up going for about $250 a month. Like I say, not a major deal if you're an enterprise, and I got bit by that because when I first started doing this presentation, I had, oh gosh, probably 20, maybe 30 instances of it, because it was in preview, it was all free. And then all of a sudden they took those services out of preview, and each one of them was about $250 a month. And I had, I don't even know how many. It reminded me an awful lot of when I was a kid, accidentally calling a foreign country and leaving the phone off the hook overnight. It's like, I was waiting for mom and dad to come down on me for running up a huge phone bill. So, but the good news was that Microsoft very nicely took care of it, because I did, in the course of 1 month, pretty sure if I remember right, the total was somewhere in the $7,000 or $8,000 range, and It's like, yeah, that's a little bit more than my $150 stipend allows. So
That's more than my
Yeah.
partying bill is.
yeah.
I did the same thing, but only a few $100, so it wasn't anywhere near what you did. But yeah, Microsoft gave me a break on some of that too. But I basically immediately went in and set some, what do they call it?
Circuit
I set some
breakers.
spending caps,
Oh yeah.
so that won't happen again if I make a mistake.
yeah. That's actually a really good idea though. If I should probably put a spending cap on my Azure tenants, but just to make sure. But I'll do that after Code Camp, so just in case. So yeah, that's basically what we've got going on, and I'm hoping to lure a few more presenters from Code Camp into these Friday night sessions. So for anybody who hasn't been keeping up with the code review sessions, we actually meet every night of the week, and we talk about Code Camp a lot, but we talk about all kinds of stuff. What we're doing for the day. If there's somebody's blocked by a problem or something like that, we try to help each other out and work on various coding problems and geek out about fun stuff that we did and all that stuff. And we've been doing this every weeknight since the beginning of the social distancing thing, which we all thought was just going to be to flatten the curve for a couple of weeks. So here we are 6+ months later, still doing this, and we're still getting together and talking about it and enjoying it and stuff like that. So definitely appreciate everybody being a part of that, and definitely happy that we're continuing it along, and it's also a bonus that it's evolved into helping out the Code Camp and giving back to the community in that way as well. And like I say, I am going to try to get speakers, other additional speakers to come and tell about their sessions in future Friday night editions, especially because that's when we go out to LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. So give them a chance to promote their sessions and stuff like that. And speaking of promoting sessions and all that stuff, we actually have for November 5th, the Granite State Microsoft 365 users group has an event. Let me grab the
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Shane Young,
yes.
do the Power Apps thing. Yeah,
So
he's great.
yeah, let me just bring the meetup.com page up for that. So we're very excited to have Shane Young coming. Let me share this so that you guys can see it too. My computer is being a little bit slow because I'm in about 8 different ways. So. Okay. Can you guys see that now?
I see it.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So creating custom apps and teams without code with Shane Young, and Shane Young's Microsoft MVP in business applications, and very well known and respected in the community for his prowess in the field, and definitely a bit of a model to follow if you're interested in picking up the Power Platform set of tools, especially in it really does seem like there's a good niche for this in the gig economy that's sort of developing right now. Everybody says that the gig economy is much better during the social distancing era than it has been, and I can't help but think that Power Apps really kind of fits that pretty well. That there's a good potential for opportunity there, and I got to admit, I tend to be much more of a classic application developer. I'm a C# guy kind of through and through, but Power Apps and Power Automate and all the Power Platform tools really fascinate me, and I'd like to know more. So I'm looking forward to this session myself. Again, that's November 5th. That's a Thursday night at 6 p.m. and for the Granite State Microsoft 365 users group. We also even have our December speaker lined up, but I don't recall who that is or what the I haven't heard what the topic is yet, but we do have our December speaker already. We'll talk about that more next time around. But anybody else have any other events or anything like that they'd like to bring up before we call it a night? Or
Jim, can you stay on for a minute?
Sure.
I need to talk to you.
Yep.
So, good night, everybody.
Anybody else got anything before we go, or are we all good?
All set. Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Thank you so much for coming and participating and contributing. And we'll.
Hey, thanks for having us. Yeah, it's fun.
Yes.
Fun chatting with you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice evening.
We'll catch you later.
See you
Good
next
night.
time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.